Hi, this is Sherry Veronica, and I wanted to talk about this guy, DeVere Murrell, and what he said about hats off to the fearless contributors who contribute to the NationNews articles. And if he lives in Barbados, he probably wouldn't know what a fearless person is unless he is moving with the gangs in the New Orleans area, or they say there are only two gangs. That's what your minister says, but we know better. But let's go with the two gangs. If he knows the top people in those gangs and he's moving with them, I can see him talking. But to talk about people who write into the news, they never fear that the Red Stripe is going to come and knock on their door and take them away. You call that fearless because they're doing something within the comfort of whatever it is they do there. Okay, so if let's say that one of these fearless people were to speak of slavery and they say, hey, we know that Barbados was a slave port and people came from all over the region to buy slaves, and they bought the strongest, they bought the biggest, and they bought the brightest ones. And the ones who remained in Barbados were the small, the sickly, and the not so bright ones. They didn't have any skills. Well, the people that he is talking about, have any of them ever said anything like that in the newspaper? Can you say anything like that and have it printed and talked about in the newspaper that the Bajans, the ones that are there were sickly, they were not so smart, and it's what was left over. It's what was left over from what people selected from the best of what was there. Would they speak of that? Do they speak of that? Well, okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the religious part of Barbados. You can say if someone wrote in an article, because there are a lot of religious people writing in articles, is there a fearless one that wrote in and said, well, let's say there's a God. Let's say there's a God. A lot of people believe that there is one, and let's say that God, as Bajans say, he gotta be a Bajan. Let's say that God and Peter Wickham, are like twins. God moves like Peter Wickham. Let's say that someone were to write in and say that God and Peter Wickham were two peas like in a pod. Would that be in your news? Would you write? Do you think the Nation would publish that in the news? Okay. Have you ever gone to get anyone that wrote into the news? Have you ever gone to the hotel in St. Philip to bail them out or anything like that? When you talk about being fearless, you don't know what fearless is. You do not know what it is to be fearless, because in Barbados it cannot exist. To be fearless cannot exist in Barbados, because you will find yourself in Hotel St. Philip. You would find yourself in the hotel in St. Philip. So this Murrell, he just wanted to be in the paper. He just wanted to, what? He just wanted to kiss ass? I don't understand why this particular thing is in here. But Murrell was looking for favors. He's looking for, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Because you do not, it is obvious to anyone who read what you wrote, you do not know anyone in Barbados who is fearless. It doesn't really happen that way. If they are, they're in hiding. If they are in hiding, or they will whisper whatever they have to whisper. But it ain't going to get into your paper. It ain't going to get into the Nation. That is a newspaper that is subsidized by the government. It ain't going to happen. You do not know any fearless people. Sit down. Sit down. Sherry Veronica.